Hey, welcome back to Kabbalistic. Listen, I'm sorry about the glasses, but I can't see my notes without them, so you're just going to have to deal with it for the next few minutes. Anxiety. I'm going to give you the tools right now to defeat your anxiety, to get rid of it forever. First off, let me just explain what it is. Anxiety is always caused by automatic thought from your subconsciousness, suggested to your awareness over and over and over again, until you believe a future event is going to happen in a way that's going to change or interrupt your current lifestyle, or in essence, take you out of your comfort zone. It causes worry. It causes so many things that there's just too many things to name here. But anxiety changes the chemical makeup of your body, which causes stress, which causes sickness, which causes death. In the end, all thought issues, or all mental issues, anxiety, stress, all of it's been around forever. It's been around before your doctor diagnosed you with some new name that they gave it, or gave you a new pill. It was always treated by the reprogramming of your subconscious mind, which is what I'm going to show you how to do right now. Okay? In the end, I don't want you to believe what I'm saying. I want you to test it tonight, and I want you to comment on this video after you test it, and I want you to let me know what you thought and how it worked. And if you need to contact me, my information's all over this website. Just text me, and I'll walk you through it. Anyway, let's get back to it. Okay, anxiety is caused by suggestion being suggested to your awareness automatically. How do you change automatic thought? You change automatic thought by reprogramming your subconsciousness. This is the only way to do it. I'm not going to get into scripture here. The page is about Kabbalah, which is mysticism. All through the ancient scripture, it tells us that these problems and these issues have been around forever. They gave us tools how to fix it. So I'm going to just give you a brief description of it right now. And here we go. 5 minutes before you go to bed. First off, before you go to bed is the most important time for your following day, the next day, your thought patterns of the next day, the following day. Your reality for the next day, everything about it, your automatic reactions to what happens in your life, what happens in your life, what you believe, your perception of what's going on, everything. The last 5 minutes of your day, what you think, your thoughts, your last feelings govern what's going to happen the following day. So, instead of watching a horror movie, instead of thinking about all of the problems that you've convinced yourself that you have, what we have to do is tonight, you have to get into the practice of laying down, turning the TV off in a quiet place, and using the keys to the kingdom, which is your imagination. I'm not going to get into that. If you want more information on that, watch the rest of the videos on this page. But here we are. I want you to test this. I want you to call me a liar. I want you to test this and wake up tomorrow morning and say, this guy's full of shit, or he really helped me out. Okay? Here we go. 5 minutes before we go to sleep, I want you to imagine a picture in your mind, a loving picture. A picture in the future of unconditional love. It could be with you and one of your loved ones out to dinner. It has to be in the first person, where you're looking through your own eyes. You're looking through your own eyes, and they're looking back at you. Has to be in the first person. It can't be like you're watching it as a movie. It will not work. You're talking to them through your mouth. You're looking at them face to face. 5 minutes before you go to bed. Feeling has to accompany this snapshot photo that's in your mind. Has to accompany it. Without feeling, it will not work. So it's very simple. First person and feeling have to accompany the photo you're taking in your mind of you sitting with a loved one tonight, 5 minutes before you go to bed. It could be a loved one, or it could be your whole family. And I want you to feel the feeling of relief. What is the feeling of relief? The feeling of relief is as if you are relieved because a loved one walked through the door after you understood there was like a car accident down the street, and your child or your mother or father or lover walks through the door and you're like, whew. Or a good diagnosis from a doctor, from a cancer doctor, where you're like, whew, okay? The feeling of you're okay and you're gonna be okay. That's the feeling of relief that you have to have, that's gonna accompany the photo that you've taken in your mind with you sitting with your loved one or loved ones. And also, in addition to that, the feelings have to be of unconditional love. It has to be a scene in your mind 5 minutes before you go to bed. The last thoughts of your mind that are a scene in your mind that is pure bliss and unconditional love. Okay? Close your eyes, imagine it, make sure the feeling accompanies it. And this is what I want you to do. This is how you reprogram your automatic thought, and this is going to change what is suggested to you in your waking hours when you're awake. This is what's going to change it. I want your loved ones to say to you in this imaginary scene in your mind, geez, you know, I remember when you used to suffer from anxiety and depression. And I want you to respond with the feeling of relief. That this is all in your past. Yes, I want you to respond like this. Yes, I used to suffer. I used to have such problems with my mind. My mind used to be so unorganized, and all of these thoughts were like my computer not having a file system and just downloading file after file onto my desktop. But I realized that my files weren't organized, my mind was unorganized, and I don't have that problem anymore. I don't have anxiety anymore because it's all in my past. And my default feeling is bliss and happiness and love. And when you say this to these, make sure your eyes are touching their eyes. They're talking to you. And the feeling of relief that you have in your face when you're explaining to them that this was all in your past and you're glad it's over. You're watching their face and they're having the feeling of relief, like, aren't you glad? Yes, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with anxiety anymore. Okay? I'm so very, very happy that that is my past and everything in my life is bliss. Then I want you to continue the conversation with them asking you, how was your day today? And I'm going to give you an example when I do this, when I'm reprogramming and settling the conflicts within myself. What I say to them, I say to them, you know, everybody I met treated me with unconditional love. Everything I saw unconditional love in it. And every place I went, I was received with unconditional love. Now, remember, the feeling is the secret to this. The feeling is the secret to this 5 minutes before you go to bed. You have the feeling of relief and unconditional love, and as a memory, you're doing it. You're doing all of this as if you're remembering when you had a problem with anxiety. You remember the day, and the day was magnificent, okay? Everything went right. The conversation between you and your loved one is your loved one saying, so, everything in your day went right? Yes. And have them repeat what you tell them. And as they're talking to you, you're feeling the feeling of it's over and relief. Now, I promise you, if done correctly in the first person, and the feeling is the key. The feeling accompanies it. I promise you, 5 minutes before you go to bed, if you fall asleep in this, meaning that you're drowsy, you're in that place right before you go to sleep, but you're not asleep, you're aware. It's like a lucid dream. Right before you lose control of it, before you go to sleep, I want you to let it go. And I want you to carry on the conversation past the conversation you had about your anxiety being relieved. What's going to happen is you just programmed your next day. You've reprogrammed the dream of life, which is when your avatar sleeps. In ancient scripture, that's a form of death. When it resurrects in the morning, your last thoughts of what you had the night before are what's going to govern your automatic thought, your subconsciousness, the photo that's placed on the back of your eye by your higher self that controls what happens here in this physical realm and what your avatar automatic thought is. Okay? You've just reprogrammed your automatic thought. So no more, if done correctly, will all day these suggestions be suggested to you. And when you do the 5 minutes before the bed, the reprogramming of the automatic thought, it's very important to believe. Believe in what the conversation is. Put yourself in that place. In that place. Shut your senses down. And when you are talking to your loved one, you have no sense of anything except for what's in that room. Scan your hands. If it's out to dinner, pick up a glass of water. Scan your hand, feel the glass of water in your hand. And when you're doing this, that is your reality. Only believe in the reality that you've created at all times, okay? Only believe in that reality. That is a future event that, and I'm not going to get into it, but that is as real as yesterday, okay? Only believe in that and believe what you've said, that what you've said truly has happened, and believe what your loved one has said back to you with feeling. And I promise you, do this 3 days in consecutive 3 days, 1, 2, 3, and I promise you, the first night you're going to wake up the following day when your avatar resurrects, and it's going to be a completely different world. You're not going to have those automatic thoughts. You're going to have the feeling, for example, when I do it, and someone asks me, or I hear them talking between themselves, I make sure that my default feeling is a feeling of bliss and happiness and well-being, a sense of well-being. If you have that conversation backed by the feeling of well-being, the feeling of happiness, the sense of healthiness, I promise you the next day when you wake up, that is exactly how you're going to feel. Now that I've told you this, you're going to do it for 3 days in a row. You have to ask yourself, are you comfortable where you're at? Do you want to change? Because if you want to change, you'll try this. You'll test it. If you're not willing to test it, what are we talking about here? If you're comfortable being you and you're comfortable in your life, then stop watching these videos. But if you really want to change your life at its core, what you need to do is reprogram what's in control of that life, which is your subconsciousness, which is controlling automatic thought. And that's it. So I love you very much. I can tell you I'm a survivor. When you come to my page, if you subscribe and watch the rest of the videos, you'll understand what mysticism is. You'll understand where it came from. You'll understand the practical use of it. It is most important to us. It's a reconnection of our higher selves. And remember, we're all one being, one consciousness, experiencing what we've created in this dream of life. So if you now know it's a dream, you can change it. And the dream, blessed is he who understands that the end is the beginning and the beginning is the end. What that means is the end of your day, in this for this conversation's purposes, the end of your day is the beginning of your following day. Whatever your thought process is, the worst thing you can do is drink, do drugs, watch a scary movie, think about what's not right in your life. Okay? Don't do it. Do it all with unconditional love, with gratitude, and test it. Call me a liar. Call me a liar. Or comment on this video that it works like a charm, okay? It's to help people at the end of the day. That's it. I love you. The video is getting too long. It's 14 minutes. Read the caption there. Watch the rest of the videos if you need enlightenment through grace. And Peace be with you, and I love you. This works. Try it, okay? Have a great day.